Welcome to Outlaw Woodworking. Today we're going to build this sheet goods rack, and we're going to build it out of 2x10s, and I'm excited to be back in my shop working. I've been spending most of my time working outside on my big garage doing the foundation, but now it's time to kind of get prepared for a bunch of winter projects. So one of the things I want to do this winter is I ordered a new CNC machine, and I need sheet goods, rolls of or mask and rolls of protective paper for when I'm painting, and tape. And so I decided to build this big sheet goods rack. Anything that's on a roll, I'll be able to put up on this rack. And right here, I'm ripping these 2x10s down. These are some forms left over from my foundation job that I just did. And the wood is actually really nice. And wood is expensive, so it's good to try to recycle it all. Anyway, I ripped these down on the table saw to about 6 inches and clean up my mess. Then I chop them to the right height. This chop saw only won't chop all the way through it. I had to flip them over, but that's all right. As long as you get it straight, it's nice and smooth. Then I get out my DeWalt planer and I start going to work on these boards. These are it's 8 feet long, these boards. So they're going to be 8 foot tall by 6 inches wide. Watch this board, man. That wood really looks nice. I'm actually planning on going down to my garage site and salvaging all these form boards and use them to make different things in the winter. I have a lot of them, and well, must have kicked the camera right there. Anyway, you can see it comes out really nice. There was a couple spots that I had some snipe on. I had to run it through again. And that's usually if I don't run it through, if I try to pull on it on the other side, it does that. I forget there's a way to avoid that. I think you throw another piece right behind it and then it avoids it. Anyway, I run these through until they're nice and clean. You can see all the cement and form oil on that one. It's really nice to be back in the shop again making things. It's one of my favorite things to do as a hobby, and I really enjoy it. Although I also like working outside, especially when the weather's nice. Right now it is, what is this, August 12th, and the weather is really nice. So I'll be going back outside actually today. I'm working on a rock wall that I've never done before, and that's pretty fun. I think I did a beginning video of that rock wall. It's not easy to place rocks actually. Right here I mark all the holes 8 inches apart. I thought that was a good spread, and it's going to be 11 holes total, so I'll have 11 bars to hang different things on. And right here I'm going to use an 1 3/8 Forstner bit, and I realized right away I need to drill both sides so I don't get blowout from this bit. And the reason I chose 1 3/8 is because I'm actually going to use electrical conduit as the bars in between here, and they do make an 1 3/8 isolator that I can pound in there if I think I need to keep them from moving. I might not need to, but if I do, then this hole's the right size. I realized right away that I need to clamp these. It'd be a lot more productive, so I clamp them and just start going to town on all these holes. The drill I'm using right there is a Milwaukee cordless drill. I've had it a long time. Probably won't last too much longer, but it is still going, so I'm going to keep going with it. It's taken a lot of abuse. Milwaukee makes good tools. I'm really happy with Milwaukee. Actually, the DeWalt planer and the DeWalt, what was the other thing I used? The planer. I'm not that thrilled with the DeWalt Sawzall actually. I did buy a DeWalt Sawzall, and I think the Milwaukee Sawzalls are a lot better. I've always had Milwaukee, but I decided to buy a new DeWalt one, and I didn't like it as much. But a lot of the DeWalt tools are really nice. Now the tool I'm going to use here is a handheld porter cable, and I really like this tool. It's probably, I had a handheld Bosch one before that lasted a really long time, but I'm using this porter cable one, and I've been really happy with it. I like the way it feels in your hand. I also have a porter cable in my router lift that's in my table. Right here I just router all the holes and both sides of this board. Once I get it all routed, then it's going to be time to assemble this thing. But first I'm going to have to, there's a baseboard at the bottom, so first I'm going to have to notch for this little baseboard. And it was about 3/4 inch, about 3.5 tall, so I made a little notch. And I'm going to be using my Bosch jigsaw, which I've had for 15 years probably, maybe more. And I've been a really good jigsaw Bosch. I notch both those out, then I take it up, I do a little test check where the studs are, check the width. Now I'm going to make this thing 38 inches inside diameter because the sheet good rolls that I'm going to get are probably 36 inches, and that'll give an inch on each side of the sheet good, you know, to roll or make it easy to come on and off there. So I cut all these at 38 inches using my, what chop saw is that? That is a Hitachi. That chop saw is a Hitachi chop saw, and I've had that for a long time too. It's a smaller chop saw, but I really like it, and I'm not going to change it unless it burns up, which it doesn't seems to last forever. I've had that for probably 20 years. Right here I'm using a Craig pocket hole jig, and this is the cheaper one, but I really like it and it works really good, and I've been using it for a while. I put two pockets in each board. And I'm going to use some 1.25" pocket screws. Originally I wanted to clamp this thing, but it turned out I don't have wide enough clamp. The widest clamp I got is 3 feet. So I'm going to just glue it and pocket screw it, and that should be okay. I roll out some sheets to keep the glue from getting on my bench. I'm using Type Bond glue, the blue premium one, and then I proceed to screw or glue and screw this rack together. This is a pretty simple design. It actually didn't take me long at all to make this. I'm really gearing up for this winter to do a lot of craft type stuff in my shop. Once I get the new CNC machine, I'll be able to make signs and 3D carvings and quite a bit of fun stuff. So I'm really trying to get ready for that. And of course, when my CNC comes in, it'll probably take me a little while to put it together. It's going to be a 4x8 machine, and I have that room over there that's going to be dedicated for it. Anyway, once I get this thing finished screwing it up, put all the pocket screws in, then I get out my sander and sand off all these pencil marks. That is actually a rigid sander, and it actually has a good dust boot on it, but right now my dust collection for the sander is disconnected. So right here I'm putting on a water-based polyurethane, and I'm just putting a heavy coat on, and I'm just going to put one coat on. I was kind of impressed how nice this wood is. That's why I'm going to go down and salvage all those form boards and get them up and into some good storage so I can use them in the winter. Right here I get my magnet out and I find the exact locations of these studs. Figure out where they're at. Make some marks where they're going to go. Right here is my next attempt at animation with these screws. So I get out my screws. This has kind of been fun to play with, trying to figure out how to do animation. Right here I'm going to take this conduit and I'm cutting these pieces wider than the rack so they'll stick out about 1 inch on each side. So I'm cutting all these at 42 inches. The vise that I'm using right there is a Rockwell jaw horse, and I've really been happy with that too. And the table saw, that's a little small table saw. That's a DeWalt table saw. That's been really good. I'd rather have a saw stop table saw that's bigger, but that's what I got, and I'll have to be satisfied with that for a while. Anyway, once I get all these pieces cut, I get out my grinder and I deburr all these pieces. I don't want anybody to cut their hand on the ends of these, so I get them all cleaned up. Once I finish this, it was pretty much time to install. And right here I get it up in place, and that's where it's going to go. This is a good use for this space right here. It's the beginning of that little hallway. And actually I'm going to store lumber on a rack in that hall also. That'll be one of my next projects. Right here I've got all the marks where the studs are, and I put basically 3 screws in each board. Make sure that I'm in the right location for I use the magnet to find the studs. And up she goes. It doesn't look like much, but this rack is going to be really, really useful for me. It's going to be able to store a lot of stuff that I can get to really quick. I don't have to go dig it out of a closet or a bucket, or, you know, it'll all be right there. And right now I don't have very much sheet goods, so I'm not going to be able to show you anything on the rack. But this is what it looks like with all the poles in it. And I attempted to put this roll in there, but the inside of it got all messed up, so it didn't work. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, and I will see you next time. Later.